All right, everyone, go ahead and have a seat. We're going to get started with our lesson today. What I want you to do is you are going to get out 3 of your graphic organizers. I printed off everybody a packet, so you should have one that talks about what everything in our graphic organizer means, one that you did for homework over the book we read in class, and then I want you to get out a blank one, okay? So first off, let's have the one where we talk about every single section, what it means. So can somebody tell me what the setting means? When I tell you what is the setting of the story, what are you looking for? Okay, so where the story takes place. Now, these next 2 papers we're going over, this would be a great time for you to fill them out as we go if you've missed anything, because you will be turning in the one you did for homework last night into the box. So our setting is when the story takes place, okay? Anything you want to write in here about where it takes place, when. Some of you guys might have like a time frame if you have a story that's historical fiction that goes back in time, right? What about the characters? We have 2 types of characters that are our main ones. Oh, I gave away one. We have 2 types of characters that are going to be in our story. What's the first one? Main characters. Yes, we know their name. We know a little bit about them. We might know a lot about them, but yes, we have our main characters, and then we have another kind. We have our supporting characters. So we might not know their name. We might know their name, but we don't know a lot about them. They don't give a lot of detail. So we have main and supporting. What does the problem mean? I wrote this on the board yesterday. What does the problem mean? If I say, what's the problem of your story? What do we have? Yeah, so you should have the conflict that affects the characters or causes big disasters. Okay, so the conflict. This might be with just the main character. It might be internal, so what they're going through on their own. It might be external between another character. So a couple weeks ago, we read Sergio's bike, and Sergio had a conflict with another student about their bike. What about the solution? How did the problem get solved? How did we fix our problem in the story? And finally, our main idea. Yeah, just a summary. As you guys know, the main idea boxes are all different sizes on these. It's a short little summary of your book. Short little summary. So yesterday, we read one of my favorite books. We read Madeline Finn and the Library Dog, right? And you were supposed to, you got a copy. I uploaded a copy of this onto Google Classroom, right? And you were supposed to finish this and what you didn't get filled out in class. So we're going to talk about the answers. And if we're talking about these and you don't have a section filled out, what should you be doing? You should be filling that out, yes. So the setting. Can you have more than one setting? Is that okay? Yeah, absolutely. So where does the setting mostly take place? In this, there are kind of 2 different settings that we talk about. Where does the setting take place for the most part? Okay, it takes place in the library. We know that from the title. What could another setting be? Okay, so it could take place at school, and you could have even put it home because there are some sections where she was at home. Okay, so make sure you have the library, and then if you add school or home, that's fine. A lot of your books are going to have more than one setting. We're just doing it in a short picture book. Who are our characters? Who do we have first? You should know this because, of course, you have Madeline. She is our main character. What about another character? Okay, her teacher. Do we know her teacher's name? No. So is our teacher or her teacher going to be main or supporting? It's going to be a supporting character, absolutely. What about this little lady right here? Who is this? That's Bonnie. That's the dog. So we do know her name. So is she kind of an important character if we know her name? Yes, and then there's one other person, or 2 other people actually. Okay, we have the librarian, and we have mom. Good job. So you should have on underneath your characters, we have Madeline Finn, we have Bonnie, we have the librarian, we have our teacher, and we have mom. Okay. So again, when we're doing creating our story later on, after we get done with this and you guys get started, you're going to have some main characters and you're going to have some supporting characters, but you need to have them all written down as you're organizing your thoughts. What was our problem? What was the problem Madeline struggled with? Yeah, she struggled to read. She could not read that well. So that's our main problem. And remember, our problem is the conflict that affects the characters or causes big disasters. So that was the conflict that affected Madeline, was she could not read well, and she didn't like to read. What was the solution? How did we solve the problem? Yes, Madeline got put in the program at the library where they read to dogs. And she started to feel comfortable reading to Bonnie, and Bonnie was there to listen. Now, if we were talking about every little problem that might have occurred, we would have added in another problem. What could we have added? Yeah, we could have added that she came to the library one day and Bonnie was gone. Shh, Bonnie wasn't there. So that could have been another problem. And there wasn't really a solution, but what was the reasoning Bonnie wasn't there? Yeah, she had puppies. Good job. So what about the main idea? What would you say the main idea is? Okay, maybe that she got put into the reading program at the library and became more confident in her reading with the dogs. What else? Okay, she learned to love to read, maybe in a different way. Nice job. Yeah, all of those can be put in your main ideas. So, and remember, you should have Madeline Finn and the library dog next to the title and Lisa Papp next to the author. So, when you are done finishing up your thoughts, I need you to put this in the tray. And then I need you to get out your blank one. Here's where we're really going to start our final unit assessment. This is what I'm going to test you guys on. So, name and date is going to be your name and today's date, which is April 13th. And after that, for the title, does anybody remember what we are going to do in this unit? I said it at the beginning. It's been a couple days. Yeah, you guys are writing your own fiction story. So for the title and the author, the title you might not know yet. If you want to, on the back of your paper, write possible titles, that's totally fine. We're just getting our thoughts organized before we start to write our rough draft. Okay? So this is a longer unit because typically we have our unit, we do our test. Well, your test over this unit is going to be your story, and I cannot wait to read them. But it is going to be fiction. So when I say fiction, what am I talking about? Yes, something that might not be true. Okay, so it's not nonfiction. You're not giving me facts. You're making up a story. It could be based off a true event, but you're making something up. But for the author, go ahead and put your name because you're writing the story. Good question. Yes, we are going to write them. If you guys prefer, you can type it up on your Chromebooks in a Google Doc and just share it with me. And that way I can see a rough draft and see your progress. Okay. And we'll have meetings throughout the unit about this. I'll check in with you guys on your progress. We will talk about some things to change. We'll check grammar, spelling. I will have one of the paras come in and help with that as well. So yes, but right now we're just focusing on this. In these boxes, now again, you should have you should have, 3 others, so 4 of these total in that packet I gave you to write your ideas on. So if you want to put 4 different settings that you might want to use, I want you to put that in the settings. Characters, I want you to put main and supporting characters. So main characters, you could put like your name and your mom's name and your best friend's name. And for supporting, you could say like the teacher or the kid on the sidewalk or the roller coaster person. So make sure you have both kinds of characters. The problem, what problem are you going to face in your story? What's the issue? The solution, how does your problem get solved? And the main idea. What's the main idea of your story? Now, we haven't talked about this yet, but I know it's going to come up, is how long does your story have to be? Think of a picture book. We're not writing a chapter book. I know you guys love your chapter books. I know you love the I Survived stories, the historical fiction. We're starting out small. We're going to do kind of like a picture book size. So a lot of you guys have a few of these in your baskets. We have, like, you have a bunch of these different ones in your baskets, okay? So kind of base it off that in length, but don't focus on the length. Right now, we're just filling this out. So your work today in class and your homework, this is going to need to be turned in tomorrow. Now, when you turn this in, I'm not saying that's it, that's what your story is, you can't change anything. You're just showing me your creative thinking process and how to get your ideas put on paper and get them organized. Okay, so I will be taking these will be a grade. I'll be returning them as soon as I check them off tomorrow morning. So first things first, when you come into class, just go ahead, turn these in. While you're doing your morning work, I'll go through them, check them off, and get them turned back in, okay? So make sure you're working on this. Make sure you have your Madeline Finn one completed and turned into the tray. And then also, while you're working on this, I would have your definition sheet out, just to kind of help you remind yourself, okay? All right, guys, so go ahead and get to work. I'll be walking around answering any questions you might have.